Now, India's Prime Minister has reaffirmed the resilience of the Indian economy. He's in fact making a strong pitch for Swadeshi, which are indigenous products, and also a very strong pitch for Indians to be vocal for local. This amidst the global economic turbulence that's been triggered by tariff hikes announced by the US President Donald Trump. Now, the Indian Prime Minister has said that India is in fact on track to becoming the world's third largest economy, stressing that the country must remain vigilant about its economic interests.
भारत भी दुनिया की तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बनने जा रहा है। इसलिए भारत को भी अपने आर्थिक हितों को लेकर सजग रहना ही है।
Now, the Indian Prime Minister also asserted that the government is doing everything necessary to serve the country's best interests. He urged the people to use products that are manufactured within the country and to go vocal for local.
स्थानांतरित करने की कृपा करें। प्रधानमंत्री जी के प्रति आभार।
देश का भला चाहते हैं, जो देश को तीसरे नंबर की इकोनॉमी बनाना चाहते हैं, ऐसा कोई भी राजनीतिक दल हो, कोई भी राजनेता हो, उसने अपने संकोच को छोड़ करके देश हित में हर पल, हर बार, हर जगह देशवासियों के अंदर एक भाव जगाना होगा, और वो है हम स्वदेशी का संकल्प लें।
Now, India is in fact the fastest growing major economy in the world. Earlier this year, India displaced Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy. And this week, the International Monetary Fund has upgraded its outlook for the Indian economy for this year and the next. Now, India is expected to grow at a very healthy rate of about 6.4% this fiscal year and the next. And this is more than double the global average. The fund has also raised its projections for the emerging markets to about 4.1%, and the IMF credits this to better than expected activity in early 2025 and a significant reduction in the US-China tariffs. Now, based on these projections, India is expected to outpace the US economic growth very comfortably. All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got Mr. Ajay Bagga. He's the Executive Chairman of OPC Asset Solution Limited and also an expert on the Indian financial industry. He has led institutions across all its sectors and has worked with global market leaders such as Citigroup, General Electric and Deutsche Bank. Mr. Bagga, thank you very much indeed, sir, for joining us here on WION. Now, in your assessment, the fact that Donald Trump has announced these 25% tariffs on goods in India, and the Indian Prime Minister today has said that India should be more vocal for local and Make in India is a pitch that it should resort to ensure that India's economic interests are protected. How do you see this entire controversy unfolding?
Yeah, it has been very unfortunate. We were expecting a preferred rate from the US, and good talks have happened. Five stages of talks have happened, and the US team was supposed to come to India in middle August, and we were expecting that the August 1st deadline would again be moved ahead to accommodate India by 30 to 45 days. This unilateral 25% tariff, A, it's punitive, B, it's higher than neighbors and competitors, be it Asian countries, be it Bangladesh in textiles, they're all lower than this. So it puts India in a slight disadvantage. But what we are hoping for, that this is a temporary measure, and we will get a better rate soon as more negotiations happen. So this might be a negotiation tactic by President Trump, taking an outlier position, a maximalist position, and then negotiating downwards from that.
It could be a maximalist position, but the obvious understanding is these are not just economic decisions that the American president is making, because he's tying in a lot of geopolitical issues. The fact that India trades with Russia, with Iran, etc., which is why he's put these punitive, tariffs on India. In your assessment, to what extent do you think New Delhi would be willing to accommodate some of these demands that the American president has expressed? And to what extent do you think the Americans would be willing to meet India midway?
See, this weaponization of trade is not welcome. It's happened with Brazil. It's been threatened to South Africa. Brazil, for example, has a surplus. The US has a surplus of $24 billion with Brazil, and they were hit with 50% tariffs because of an ex-president trying to stage a coup. And Trump is saying that you can't prosecute that ex-president. They have sanctioned the Chief Justice, for example. So this will not stop. Once you give in, then it will continue. So India is very clear they won't give in on that. And Russia is a time-tested friend. The Soviet Union really stood with India in 65 and 71. They are tested partners. That's 36% of our defense imports are coming from Russia still, and 45% of our oil. Now, if somebody has to substitute that, we have to get that pricing and we have to get that availability. Third, if there is a fight, a war with Pakistan or China, those energy suppliers shouldn't say that we have been told by China or US to stop energy supplies to you. We are dependent on imports for 85% of our import basket, energy basket. So we have to have 20, 30 suppliers so that one supplier cannot shut us out of the market.
And also, Mr. Bagga, one quick question before we let you go. The fact that the India-America economic partnership was actually on the rise in the year 2024, the India-US trade was almost about, $120-odd billion. It was projected that in the next 5 years it would double. But considering the kind of statements that Donald Trump has made, where he's referred to India as a dead economy, do you think this is just Donald Trump who's talking, or do you think the India-US equation will change fundamentally from here onwards?
No, it won't change fundamentally. It's a strategic partnership. So again, I will once more reiterate, it's a negotiating rhetoric. And definitely India is not a dead economy. You showed the IMF figures just now. 6.4 is a real growth number, and nominal growth is 10% plus. This year and the next, we will contribute 20% of the global growth will come from India itself. So we are rapidly increasing in scale. It's that we have economic capital today, but we don't have political capital. That will come with time as people realize how big India has really become. So this will not spoil relations. Relations will come back, on even keel. It's more rhetoric to try and get the best deal for the US.
Interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Bagga, for joining us and getting us that perspective there.
Thank you.